Good, good day, everyone. My name is Rudy Page, and welcome once again to Making Connections Work, with our focus on this dialogue on business support. I'm really pleased that we'll be speaking with Peter Hurst, the CEO of Added Asset, and our theme today, our topic today, I should say, is Shear Export Development Program for Nigeria. Good evening, Peter. How are you?
Rudy, good evening. And we go back a long time, Rudy, about 25 years, I believe.
Long time. Business Link, UK Trade and Investment.
Absolutely.
Excellent. North London Tech.
Indeed.
Great, Peter. And good to see a couple of guests on, Molly and Adiniko, and I'm sure we'll be hearing from them a bit later on.
Excellent.
So, Peter, before we start, we both know that the fundamental purpose for business support is to provide that support where businesses can be the most competitive. So just before you get into the work that you are doing, could you just tell us a bit about your background and what you bring to this type of work?
Okay, so I've lived in Africa for over 30 years, actually, in 3 different countries and done business in 20 African states. And only recently moved from Africa to Spain, where I live. So my work as an independent businessman and an SME has been predominantly around selling my services to government agencies and private clients to help them develop their international competitiveness. So I'm in the context of Shear and other markets such as Ethiopian coffee. I've been specialized in increasing the capacity and capability of companies to do business internationally, and particularly trade associations in those countries to develop their services towards the small businesses. So that's what I'm doing now in Nigeria with the Shear sector.
Right, so you're not just developing the businesses themselves, but it's the infrastructure of the system and the support system itself.
Absolutely, because without that, I mean, the companies will continue to struggle. So it's what it's called in the context of the program. It's a 4 to 6 year program. It's the enabling environment. So it's more about getting things to support, cutting the red tape, getting access to markets. That's really what the program is aimed to do. So we just had our first kickoff workshop in Abuja, and I've just come back from 2 weeks in Nigeria. Yeah.
Okay, so this evening the key priorities will be supporting SMEs, meeting buyers' needs, and sector development.
Absolutely.
So let's start from the beginning. What is Shear and where does it come from?
Well, I mean, it's an interesting, because for me, you know, I've only recently in the last 3 or 4 months been trying to read as much as I can about the sector. And in fact, Shear, the trees are grown in the wild across the sub-Sahara belt, and in 19 countries where they grow wild. And it's interesting because it's not a cultivated product as of yet, although there is a program to develop it in terms of a crop. But I'll give a little bit more context to that if we have an opportunity. But the major countries for Shear are really Nigeria being the major one in terms of the sheer nut availability and the arduous task of collecting the nuts, which is really the focus of my program. I say my, but the Netherlands government program, which is to focus on the women who do, as a lot of women in Africa do, is most of the work. I'm being very cautious how I say that, but you know, there are 16 million people across the shear belt of 19 countries that really do the work to bring those sheer nuts, which fall off the trees in the 4 months of harvestable time, into the value chain. So they're very important people, and our program is dedicated to the women in Shear. So,
Okay, so and why Nigeria?
well, it's failing. I mean, there's no other. I mean, and if my Nigerian ladies are here, I'm sure will agree. You know, when Shear is the largest. Well, sheer nuts are the largest opportunity in Nigeria for processing. It gets processed out of Nigeria. So, of course, when you talk to people with respect to your knowledge as well, when you talk about shear, everybody thinks it comes from Ghana. which is a much lesser producer of shea nuts, but it has the most elaborate processing plants, and also other countries surrounding Nigeria where the nuts are smuggled across to processing operations and for the lowest value back to the Nigerian economy. So, yeah.
Okay, so this capacity building to strengthen the infrastructure also will also improve the value chain and hopefully the economic value to the people who are, of Nigeria. As
Well, that's the whole aim, and
yeah.
bring it back to literally the grassroots, and that's literally where the nuts are selected and picked from, the ladies who go out there in very dangerous circumstances, some with security circumstances which are not particularly acceptable to us. I'm not allowed to travel to some of those places, but also things like, snake bites, lots of problems for their health when they're actually doing this very arduous job. Including going back with the shea nuts to process them themselves into shea butter, not only for domestic use, which has been going on for thousands of years, but also then to take some form of very low value added into the marketplace.
Right. So what are the main uses for shea?
Well, it's actually a hugely diverse use product. I mean, from the traditional areas of making candles, literally from shea, obviously to the use in cooking oils, cooking fat, to cosmetics, which is of course the big demand now is for cosmetics. The other big demand is as a substitute for cocoa. So it's a huge substitute cocoa because it melts at a much higher temperature, and particularly for big chocolate manufacturers like Mars, they want shea, lots of shea, because they can then sell their chocolates into climates where the temperature is much higher. For instance, the United States is busy trying to get FDA approval for importing shea so that they can export their chocolate. So that's, I would suggest, is more of a commodity use for the product. There's lots of health benefits to shea. Many of them are not really very well researched, but it is used for lots and lots of things. Traditionally, of course, it's used across Africa, but particularly in the Shea belt, for all sorts of pharmaceutical or herbal uses. But it's also renowned for obviously its skin qualities, its hair qualities, for obviously hair that's damaged. I mean, it's a great barrier for the sun. It's relieves itchiness. And obviously companies like Body Shop, who are big purchasers of shea, and other French cosmetics companies and the Dutch who buy it, it is obviously blended with lots of other products to have it as a component of that. But I think unfortunately, the value doesn't return to Nigeria. So I think that's the big task we have ahead of us.
Yeah. So more value has to be added in Nigeria before it leaves, basically.
I mean, even a kilogram of raw shea butter in Nigeria, which you can buy in a marketplace for just over $1 a kilogram, even if you package it properly and in fairly sophisticated packaging for regional use, will sell for 10 times that at least. So the people on the ground are getting very little reward for their efforts. And the efforts, you just have to YouTube Shear in Nigeria or Shear in Ghana and see how these ladies have to convert it into. I don't think most men would want to do that job.
Yeah. Well, hopefully some of the women entrepreneurs over time will start to, get hold of the sector and, improve things. So, you've touched on it in terms of what are the most benefits other than some of those that you've mentioned, and you've touched on the expense, which obviously is related to value, value added. So
I think the benefits are, everything from a low cholesterol cooking product, which it really is, which is very important, obviously, to I think to using it for nappy rash for babies. I mean, the uses are very broad. I mean, going from even bio oils, particularly. There are various grades of shea nut which are gathered. So obviously the lower grades go into the more industrial, if you like, industrial products, to the higher grades, which end up in the pharmaceutical industry. So it's hugely broad. And I think, if I wanted to list all of the uses where shear is valued, the sad thing is it's highly valued in if you like, developed countries, if I can use that, and very undervalued by people who don't understand the process and all. Yeah.
So you're really talking about the value in terms of the consumer markets. So that at the end, at the buyer's end, those who are buying out there in the marketplace,
Absolutely,
advertising, promotion, and then
yes,
not at the source again. But then again, I guess with any development, you've got to get in at the source and get that capacity building, and I think that's the type of work that you're really initiating.
Absolutely. The thing is, the people who are actually gathering the shear nuts and processing them sometimes into shear butter have no idea of the value of what they're doing. They're not. It's very typical of developing countries or emerging markets or markets in transition, where the people on the ground, as I did with the coffee sector in Ethiopia for 5 years, is that the people actually growing the products and producing the products are treated as commodity suppliers when they're actually producing specialty products which have a much huger value. So sadly, shear, when you look at the commodity agri products, things like wheat, etc., it gets lumped in with those products, and it definitely is not that. And even convincing Nigeria that it's something special is quite difficult, because when the oil and they're trying to obviously work on non-oil exports as a major, they need to very badly. They really can't get their mind out of the oil commodity situation. So
well, and there lies the market opportunity, and probably a good time to bring in Molly and Adenike to have a word with you as they're on. So I go to Molly and Adenike. What are your thoughts? Any perspectives on what Peter said?
Right. Thank you so much, Peter, and thank you again, Mr. Page, for inviting us to this web page. It's very interesting what Peter said, and he's absolutely spot on every point that he has raised. So I would always say he's absolutely on point. And I guess the first thing we need to do is to value the share tree. That's the first thing. And the second thing we need to do is to educate as he said, the people who are actually producing the weight. I always say share is its weight in gold. Just as we say, how this is nature's best gift. Share class, we don't yet have a presence in Nigeria as a company, but we hope that would be something we would have very soon. And part of what we want to do with you talked earlier about Ghana and Nigeria, and I always say, and I'm being honest, Nigeria has a brand issue, and we need to bring that to the fore in our quality assurance and quality control of what we do. We need to almost create a Share Institute of Excellence.
Excellent.
Which we need to get this best scientific brain within the African continent to come and actually work in this institute. When we get that going, then we would explore all the different grades of share nuts that needs to be converted into the different brands, for industry. Maybe it's for oiling things. We could also use it for our skincare. I mean, share is gold. It has its weight in gold. And I don't want to take... Yes, and it needs to be doing. And I would like Adenike to also bring her perspective, so that it's not just me speaking, because I can speak on share till the kingdom comes. So
now that's great. What you said is really important, and Peter will be pleased to know that there's this type of thinking, because that's what's gonna, shape the market exactly as you put it there. Adenike.
Well, Adenike, and then I'll respond.
And then
okay, right. Thank you once again. It's really a pleasure to be part of this. Just to echo what Molly has said, Peter is very knowledgeable. He's spot on all that he said. I don't want to repeat everything Molly has said. From the perspective of us in Nigeria, the major issues have been pointed out: quality, standards, certifications, making the product export ready, making sure that the products we process in Nigeria are suitable and they're acceptable in the international market. That really is, I believe, what we need in Nigeria. And I know that with programs like this, you know, we're optimistic that we'll get there. It's important that we have the support. And once we have the support, I have no doubt at all that we're able to rise to the occasion. That I don't doubt at all.
Great, great. Peter? Thank
So
you.
Adenike, and I think, you know, the program is built around the obviously the gender element in terms of improving women from literally the grassroots. The program is as I say, is 4 to 6 years. Importantly, I think we're working to try to liberate some of the systems in terms of making things easier for shear exporters. So we had our first workshop in Abuja on Thursday last week, which was one of 3 workshops. The next one, by the way, is in Lagos on the 23rd of June, which was an interactive workshop, which myself and my colleague in Nigeria led. And we asked the 2 questions: what is stopping? I'll make it easy, but what is stopping shear from being successful from Nigeria, and what can we do to make it easier? So we had a group of, we intended for 30 people to attend. We had 70. And the great thing about that workshop was that we had some really powerful women in the room, and the interaction was electric. And as it stands, you know, NASPAN, which is the Shear organization representing Shear in Nigeria, has some new leadership. They have to do an awful lot to get credibility now as we move ahead. And we'll be working with them to try to improve their services, and other Nigerian agencies like the Export Council. So we'll be working with them, and we will be trying to, and we've already got a lot of commitment, is to form a new women's association for Shear. They've been fragmented in terms of and there are women's shear associations or organizations, but we're hoping to include them in a new shear initiative, which will be to strengthen women in shear. And we will be doing the branding for the shear sector. That's one of my jobs as a marketing person, is to work on a sector export marketing plan. I'll facilitate it, but it has to come from the people on the ground, which will be produced at the end of the 4-year period, as I did with the Ethiopian coffee situation. So that is really important. So the messaging from Nigeria is very poor at the moment in terms of branding and visibility. It's very difficult even on Google to find anything good about Nigeria and shear. All you get is some videos of these ladies who are really struggling to make something out of nothing. And so that's our intention, because we really want to give Nigeria the value it really deserves. So it's called a sector transformation is what the program is trying to achieve. Okay.
Right. Actually, relating to that, Peter, as you talk about the sector transformation, obviously the UK is an integral part of the market development. And given that both Molly and Adenike are backwards and forwards in between Nigeria and the UK, so how do you think the relationship can extend to the UK? Say somebody like Molly who's in the UK, and build those relations across, because obviously it's important to have the links in the consumer, where the largest consumer market is.
Well, Adenike and Molly, I would say, watch this space. yeah, we would like you to join this association yet to be formed. The largest population of Nigerian people, of course, is in the London region outside of Nigeria. So that's understood. And even now, you know, before I started this work, I was asking some of my Nigerian friends in London, where does shea butter come from? They said Ghana. So that's as bad as it is.
Everybody
That
says
is as
Ghana.
bad as it is.
Everybody says Ghana.
I know.
So if the Nigerians are saying Ghana, then we shouldn't worry then if the Nigerians.
I would never say Ghana. I would always say Nigeria. And I'm always assure you that the Nigerian shea butter is the best quality if you know where to get it.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Molly and Adonike, I need your fighting spirit. I'm trying to provoke you to get angry because
yes, you are. You are. You are doing a very
I know.
good job.
Well, I'm trying to do that because this is the problem is that Nigeria isn't stepping up to represent itself very well. So
why do you think my company is called Share Class if I don't believe in the classy nature of the product, if I don't believe, I have told you what I think.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And I'm glad that you had the seminar last Thursday and you had people involved in it. But until people understand the science, I'm a scientist by nature, until people understand the science of the share and then transform it into the value-added product before it gets off the African continent, we are going to be round and round and round and round. So Peter, as you're given the task to ensure that the brand is better, I believe with support from people like Adenike on the Nigerian leg and myself in the UK and many other people who understand the value of share, we need to educate, even those people you met who were excited, I'm happy for them, but do they understand the quality control and quality assurance that's needed, not just for export, but within the nation itself? Yeah. I think that's really key to getting it to be where it needs to be. Did you know that shea butter is an anti-inflammatory?
So I did.
Well, I'm glad you do. So we just need to mix that with something like camphor oil or something like that, and then put it into a tube, and then put it onto people's hands. Instead of buying, a friend of mine asked me to buy something for her mom for osteoarthritis. I think it was like 30 pounds for one very little tube. So these are the kind of things. Yeah. That's why I'm saying we need to get the science undergraduates to come to this Shear Institute and do something about it. I'm sorry if I'm going on about
this. Yeah, no, but what you're saying is important.
Can I just quickly
go on, Adonike.
Yeah, so absolutely. I think we already have quite a number of people in Nigeria who have the expertise, who have the experience, who have the knowledge, who have done lots of work. I personally know a doctor. I'm not sure what he got his PhD in, but he's extremely knowledgeable in the share sector. So it's not that we don't have the people. We do have the people. It's just sometimes getting everybody into a structure and into a working structure.
And
we
that's
do
about
have the people.
Honestly, that's what markets are about, though, Adonike.
Absolutely.
And that translation into value. So
correct.
Really, the discussion is not about lots of individuals. Really, it's about going back quality.
I think, Rudy, if I could just say, you know, the jealousies between individuals about shea butter or any product, and trying to get them to, as I say, hunt as a pack rather than a lone wolf.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to be much stronger if you work together. I know a couple of serious Shea ladies, one who's just gone back this evening, back to Nigeria, one who, and she's very passionate about it, and she's going to be helping me quite a lot. She's already helped me a lot on my knowledge and telling me the real stories, because obviously when you go in there blind, you go in there with a lot of academic reading, but it's only when you get on the ground you see the
Yes.
real challenges that need to be faced. So
Mhm.
I've come back after 2 weeks of being smacked around by very serious shear ladies who said, who tell me, you know, Peter,
Nigerian
we need to
ladies
do this.
slapping.
Oh, no, Nigerian ladies are actually, to be honest with you, just a quick note, I think it was the most hospitable time I've had in Africa, and I love Africa. It's in my blood. My kids were born there. So I must say that the Nigerian hospitality and the courtesy I was shown was absolutely second to none.
And
I'm
you're
not saying
going
that
to
for
get
any.
better hospitality when you come to Lagos. I can assure you of that.
As long as I don't mention Ghana, yeah, I understand. Yeah.
But I'm pleased that you've both joined, and particularly Molly here in the UK, because part of our overall business support services across the diaspora communities, you know, we would definitely support you, Molly, as you
Thank
develop
you.
your business and connect it to what Peter's doing in
Peter.
Nigeria. Because it's important to have those pathways and channels between the UK and Nigeria. There's lots of traditional routes, associations, ways of working, and more importantly, there are no barriers. Particularly where we are now, you can intervene. You've got good ideas, and the market requires innovation. Because for all the difficulties, there lies the market opportunity and the value for your business. That's what competing is all about. So it's, on the one hand, it might be challenging, but on the other hand, it's good because it means that you can lift up a lot of women, and we know that women develop their businesses. That translates to better care for young people as well. It goes into the education system. So there'll be a lot of
Rudy,
people.
just before you round off, Rudy, I'm going to interrupt you again, if I may be so rude.
Yeah,
I know you've got a time limit on this, but just to say to Molly and Adenike, the workshop was a workshop. We posed 2 questions to the 70 people that attended, and they worked very enthusiastically. The energy in the room was great, and they did not leave after lunch, which in my experience is a first. So I think you know that. All of the points that were in terms of the challenges and the way we could improve things, talked about everything that you've mentioned: certification standards, machinery. I could even share the list with you, but I'm trying to now refine the list into 6 or 7 key areas, because we have another workshop, as I said, Adenike, if you're available on the 23rd in Lagos. If you go to the CBI website, you can register for that workshop. I don't have the link in my head, but if you go cbi.eu, you can look at the project there and register for the workshop. If you're struggling, just ask Rudy, and I can send the link for you. And so you could be part of the workshop, which would be fantastic if I see your friendly face there.
I will be there.
That's great.
Yeah.
Molly.
I was just going to ask Peter, is that can it be joined remotely as well?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll make an attempt to join.
Is it online as well, Peter? Or
no. Sorry, Molly. Molly, you've got to get the British Airways flight to come and see me there. So
if you buy me a ticket, I'll be there. I promise you.
Oh. By the way, let me say, seeing as you broach the subject, we make it very clear. We train people for 4 years. Companies, by the way, we select companies to work with, and we select agencies to work with. And it takes 4 years, but we don't give money. We give lots of it. We bring people in, and people who join the program as a company will travel to meet buyers, but not at the beginning of the program. So they will get a chance to, once they've learned some skills of actually direct exporting, not through traders or middlemen, is they will get the chance to meet buyers. So that's what it is.
I think this is a great opportunity for Shear class, and you got the perfect 2 pillars. You know, somebody in Nigeria, somebody in the UK, and you've got support from both sides. And of course, one of the things we can do, Molly, and we can discuss this, we can do some online activities connecting back, and Peter's always there online as well. So there's lots of creative things. If we think creativity, we can do a lot and bring other people on and it's something for your business just to host these as well. I mean,
Yeah, that would be great. I would, yes, something this summer.
yeah,
That would be good to do.
yeah, absolutely.
So Rudy and Molly and Adeniki, you can see behind me that my COVID picture I painted, which was during lockdown, is actually a scene of Africa. So yeah.
Right, okay.
Excellent.
Once you were painting that, we were saving lives. Anyway, I was saving lives in my day job. So,
Yeah. Excellent. Excellent. Okay.
Okay. Well, it's
on that note.
Thank you. Thank you, Rudy.
Thank you very much, and thank you, everybody. So this dialogue has been about the Shear Export Development Program for Nigeria, and the key areas of focus have been around supporting SMEs, meeting buyers' needs, and the development of the sector.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Rudy.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, Molly. Thank you, Adeniki.
Thank you. So I'll see you on the
Thank you.
23rd.
I can't wait. Nice to see you. Bye.
Okay.
All right,
You
then.
take care.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye.